Hi, welcome this week of the Astro Podcast Weekly Astrology Report. I am Jody Shirami. Welcome to my podcast. I hope everyone's doing well. Happy Valentine's Day. Today is the day of love. So, we just came off of the Leo new moon on the 12th, which was Wednesday. And that was a big first full moon of the year. And the reason it's so powerful is that, as you've noticed, Mars is retrograde in Cancer. Hi, so this week we've been dealing with the Leo full moon. And the reason it's such a big deal is because Mars is retrograde in Cancer still, and it's going to wake up next week. And the reason the Leo full moon really brings us all down to earth is that it is the sign of the self, of the creator yourself. A lot of Leos have innate confidence because we're ruled by the sun, and the sun is always there for us. We wake up, it's there. The moon's there at night for us. And the moon is where Cancer, where Mars is retrograde. And that deals with our emotional scene that is not readily available for others to see because it's our protectiveness. The moon protects our emotions. But collectively today the moon's in Virgo. It just was in Leo for 3 days. It was a full moon, and it went into Virgo, and that's where we're at on Friday is Virgo. So the Leo moon followed by the Virgo moon really wants us to slow down and think our thoughts through. Mercury enters Pisces today on February 14th on Valentine's Day. And that seems kind of appropriate in sense it's Valentine's Day. It's a dreamy, loving time. It's a higher octave of Venus. So when Mercury goes into Pisces in the highest octave of Venus, so love today is very special, romantic, and could be a little delusional. But again, isn't love always a little delusional until you get to know each other, and then you have to learn to accept each other as humans, right? Not as little angels flying around who we fall in love with. And a lot of times with Mercury here, you could have thoughts that are confusing. You're not sure what's happening in your brain, but it is an excellent time for artists. You can dream big. You can write an epic novel right now as Mercury's in Pisces, which I hope I can use. So this is the weekly astrology report for February 14th to February 21st. And I am a little bit scatterbrained today because my youngest has 4 days off from high school because it's President's Day on Monday. So my daily routine for my podcast is a little bit off. So if this doesn't come out till a little bit later, please excuse me. Things are happening quickly. I'm trying to get dinner ready so that I can go out to dinner with my husband for Valentine's Day. So a little bit scatterbrained. And it goes and fits right into Mercury going into Pisces, which is my moon sign. So Pisces going into Pisces definitely makes you scatterbrained, makes you unable to just grasp that idea you were thinking about for a minute ago. Time seems to fly quickly. Like this morning, came out here. It's been quiet all day. My kids have been swimming in the pool, actually, because the pool's at 81 degrees. So really the big news is that Pisces, Mercury, and how it will affect us. And Mars being retrograde in Cancer. So if you can see in the political scene, things are happening quickly. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. And all of a sudden, we got a guy back from Russia out of prison, and we gave another guy back to Russia. And all this is happening quite quickly. Not everything's out in the open. This is the way this administration is dealing with things, by changing things quickly. And they're quick to do things and not let us see what's happening, and then later on judges will say, well, that's illegal to do that, to close down a whole department and then give them a bonus for quitting. Otherwise, if they don't quit, they're just going to lose their job and their paycheck. So this is a time of fast-moving energy. We've spoken about this all last year, and it's only going to get faster. And one of the reasons that the full moon in Leo was such a big ordeal, and astrologers are talking about it, and we'll be talking about it on to next year, is the fact that Leo, when Mars wakes up in Cancer, which is getting ready to do soon, it should relieve some of our tension of passive aggressiveness, and other people should also be able to handle that, I hope. But when it wakes up, it still has to go through Mars. And Cancer people are really feeling this um, because it's gone way back into Cancer where it was last year, I believe in like September or December or November, somewhere around there when it's went back into Cancer. And then it's going to go station direct next week. And then it still has to travel all the way back out of Cancer on those degrees it visited all last few months. And then it's going to go back into Leo until it gets back to that 6 degrees where it went to sleep and then started going backwards. Now, retrograde just means that we can't see from the Earth. So its energy on the Earth is more powerful because we can't see it, but it's closer to us somehow. And that retrograde period and all the planets make that planet very, very powerful. So Mars is super powerful right now. And that is what I'm talking about in terms of the political arena, how quickly things are happening. And with Mercury going to Pisces, we're going to be kind of unable to see the reality of what's going on for a couple weeks. And then when it wakes up again, we'll start to understand what's happening. And when it finally goes into Aries, we'll also start to see our minds pick up on a little bit of things. We will see it quicker. We'll be able to process it better. But until then, make notes of what you're seeing and happening and realize that a lot of it is happening very quickly for a reason so that we don't really have time to protest against it or even know what's happening and how it's going to affect us in the future. So a lot of stuff's happening, and with all the planets, the outer planets being at the very last degrees of their signs that they're visiting, we are in a very unprecedented time that we're witnessing these outer planets move because it takes them a long time to move around the whole solar system. So Neptune is getting ready to go into Aries pretty soon, and that is a big one because we're at the very end of the cosmic wheel and we're going to go into the initiation of being a human at Aries or 1 degrees of Aries. That's the initiation when we take all of our dreams and everything we've collected in our lifetime that's in Pisces at the very end of that hole that we're going into at the very bottom. We're there. We're at the end of that cycle. And as we release what we need to release, we're going to be initiating back into a human form at 1 degrees of Aries. And Saturn will be also following Neptune into Aries. And Saturn will be there until 2028, and Neptune will be there until 2038. So it's a long process. We have to have patience in what's happening. And so the next thing that's happening this week that's a big deal is the sun will be shifting out of Aquarius, where it's been programming the planets in Aquarius, which is Pluto. Pluto programmed the sun took the message from Pluto, and now the sun is going to move into the last sign of the zodiac wheel, Pisces, and the sun will then meet up with Saturn and all the other planets that will be there when it enters into Pisces on February 18th. So, by the end of next week when I'm back, the sun and Mercury will be in Pisces next week when I come back. Really take it easy this week as these shifts are very powerful. And the first eclipse in the north node of Pisces will be activated coming up. And that's going to be a very big eclipse with the sun and moon meeting up in Pisces where the north node is. And when that happens, there's going to be a resetting of the cosmic will energy, as the eclipses will be cleaning things out for these next 18 months. The eclipse is either going to be in Pisces or in Virgo. And Virgo is the person that's ruled by Mercury, the higher octave of Mercury, where they can take the information like Gemini does, but since Virgo is the earth sign, it can take that air sign knowledge from Gemini and bring it back down to earth in Virgo and turn our thoughts into practical ideas that we can make happen. So these are the things that are occurring, and with the Mars beginning to wake up in Cancer, we are going to be reviewing what we've been feeling and acknowledging those feelings. And then as it moves into Leo, we will find that we are blessed, creative human beings to be here on Earth, as everyone on Earth is ruled by the sun in some zodiac sign. Leo happens to be the sun, where the sun is the happiest, as its home is in Leo. And then it gets very happy in Aries also, the sun's little brother there, Aries. And the sun really loves it there also. So as we head towards the Aries season in March, things will pick up quickly because, again, we've talked about this. Uranus is preparing to go into Gemini and cause all kinds of new technical situations occurring quickly. And Jupiter will be going into Cancer. And so when Jupiter goes into Cancer, it's also going to be activating what's been happening with Mars retrograde in Cancer, and it's going to give hope to our emotions that we're going to be okay. We have to have faith. We have faith things will work out. And then next year, as Jupiter goes into Leo, that Mars Leo will be highlighted again because Mars is spending so much time in Cancer and Leo, almost 3 to 6 months. So when that happens in 2026, when Jupiter goes into Leo, that's when a lot of action that is personal and outer world will be moving along quite quickly, quicker than even now. So with Mercury here going into Pisces and the Sun this week, make sure you're clear-headed about what's happening in your daily life, and to ensure yourself safe security, check all of your banking statements, check all of your internet stuff, check your passwords, and don't fall for any scams, because scams will be happening left and right coming up here for the Pisces season, which goes from this year, February 18th to March 20th, I believe. So we're going to have a whole month of that. Most of March is in Pisces. And that's when spring break occurs, when the snow starts to melt, and we get ready for spring on March 21st. So it's not a mistake that Pisces season ends right when spring starts, because spring is the initiator of the new beginning of the year in terms of plants growing and all those things for the rest of the country. Whereas in Florida, we've had our growing season begin, say, November, because it got cool. We could grow our tomatoes. We could grow potatoes, onions. I mean, we've had 70 to 80, 81 degrees the other day. Next week, it's going to go down a little bit, low 70s, high 60s, but pretty much in my pool's at 81 degrees. It's definitely warm here. So prepare for that this year with Mars entering Leo. It's going to heat up things quite a bit in March. So really take care of your area, your security. Make sure you're good to go, because this week is the week where you have some time before the 18th to kind of shore things up and make sure that you're thinking clearly and all that stuff. Okay? So I'll be back next week, and next week we'll talk about Mars waking up and Pisces season getting going and some other situations that are happening that will start to occur next week. Okay? So thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I am fully back from Sundance. I am caught up on my sleep. Uh, Shout out to all my friends that I miss, and see you guys next year. And thank you and happy Valentine's Day. I hope you have a beautiful day. Today is a day of love, of all kinds of love. Love of yourself, most important, and then love of others as the way you love yourself. So love yourself a lot and be nice to yourself so you can do that for other people too. Okay? I appreciate you. And I am Jody Shirami, and I will be back next week. And this is the weekly astrology report on astropod_cast. You can catch me on my Instagram page, astropod_cast. You can catch me on my YouTube page, on Spotify, and wherever streaming is occurring. I am on that. Apple, Amazon, all those places. Okay, and I appreciate you. I appreciate my new customers. I will get your stuff out, and thank you for your patience. It's been kind of a busy week, adjusting back here for a full week. It's a little bit difficult. I will talk to you next week. Okay, thank you. Bye.